Hey guys, Forex Loss from BK Forex. Welcome to our BK Forex Daily Technicals for 6/11/13. Will dollar yen jump back to 100? As always, trading Forex on margin carries a high level risk minimum suitable for all investors. I ask you to read this disclaimer very carefully to understand all the risks associated with trading Forex on margin and seek advice from a financial advisor if you have any doubts. Well, let's take a look at the charts. See if I can pull this over just one sec. And let's actually take a look at the dollar yen first, because I think it's the more interesting trade today. Dollar yen had a big rebound. We're talking about the idea. Let me just give it a second. We're talking about the idea that 95 was a value proposition, and of course it came roaring back. But 98.99 was definitely the resistance area, and it did hit a big bump here at this 99 shelf, which was the area from which it fell just a couple of days ago. So I think it's going to have to turn a little bit over here. A break above 99.50 though really does put it much more in the driver's seat, and pushes us right back towards the 100. Now the 100, 150 is still a pretty chunky little area here, so it's not necessarily a given that if it clears 100 we're going to go all the way up. But it's still a very, very powerful recovery, almost a V-shaped recovery. And I think at this point you have to give the benefit of the doubt to the bulls rather than the bears on a dollar yen story, technically at least, unless we have a big failure over here. If we just fail out at 99s, we start drifting towards the 98s, and basically if 98s are given, then this could be essentially viewed as a double top here, and we'd have a second test of the 95s. Of course, we could test higher, and that could create a more bullish structure. But for the near term, the battle here is between 98, 99s. If we can take out 99s to the upside, we have more potential here towards the hundreds. If we kind of fail around the 99s, then we could be looking at an intermediate term top, and a sort of a fade all the way down to 98s, 50s, perhaps even 97, 50s as we consolidate. So that's the yen in a nutshell. Looks interesting at these very key levels. The euro is looking quite robust. It's really consolidating here very well above the 32 level. 32.50 got taken out today. We're just sort of hovering right below the key 33 highs. If they can take out the highs at the 33s, there's not much there to stop it. I'm gonna have to go to the daily charts to show you the resistance points. You see, if you can take out this sort of the small 33s over here, or this resistance area, there really isn't much here until all the way out to 35s, and it looks very, very constructive. So a takeout, really, basically a print of around 33.10, 33.15 would give you a lot of confidence that we have potential breakout towards the 35s in the euro for the time being. Break to the downside, however, 32s kind of give back on this positive structure, and 31.50s really create essentially a near-term top here. So both ways looks promising depending on how the euro develops itself. Pound also looks quite good. Pound really needs to take out the 56.80 to move through the 58s, 59s here. The next level resistance is around 58.50, like around here, this little chunky area, 58.50, 58.73. And then beyond that, you really have only 160s as the area. This is the area from which it fell a couple of months ago. So cable looks pretty good as well, but they're all at these very, very key points of inflection, and it's going to be interesting to see whether they're going to be able to resolve themselves or not. And lastly, of course, Aussie is consolidating, but still not out of the woods yet. I mean, we're consolidating around 94s. We really need to retake 95s in order to have some degree of conviction that that Aussie may have bottomed out here. At this point, it's still flirting around. It still may come in. It still may test like 93.50 before it finally finds some sort of a meaningful bottom. In the meantime, Euro Aussie, which has been a really interesting trade to follow. Where's my Euro Aussie? Here it is. Kind of flamed out of the 140s, but now is right back above 140s. And this is interesting. We're now really right back towards the yearly highs here. And if we take out the 140.80s, it looks like a complete turn right back up. So today's little dip below the 140 may have just simply tricked some of the short wannabes, and now it's going to force more short covering as we start going up. So for the time being, maybe a little bit too early to sing a bottom for the Aussie dollar, but the trade over here is certainly very interesting. We are at fresh time highs here, and kind of at a key inflection point, in terms of whether we can clear out. If we do clear 40.80, we're looking very strongly towards the 4150, 4200 as a possible trade in the Euro Aussie. This just goes to show you how hard it is to try to find tops in these parabolic moves, and how often you get buried. Even when you initially have positional opportunities that may be in the money in the near term, if you don't cover very quickly, it just can turn right back into you and squeeze you out higher, which is exactly what happened. The fact that we took out, watch this, see what you see? Let me just sort of zoom in on this because I think it's kind of an interesting structure here. If you look at a Aussie here, you had a big flame out candle, but yet we covered it all the way to the top. But now the bias turns right back to being bullish, and then I think is kind of an interesting thing to look at as we go forward. So wishing you guys the best of luck and the best of trading. This is Boris Schlossberg. Talk to you guys tomorrow for BK Forex. Over and out.